Hello students, welcome back to the class. So students, we are going to start today chapter number 30, story writing. So students, what are the importance of a story? Stories are an essential part of human culture. Stories are how we learn about each other, our past and our culture. A story is basically a narrative or imaginary event involving real or imaginary people. A story is generally designed to entertain or to send message across. Here is kinds of stories. The range or type of stories are endless. However, stories can be divided into two very broad categories, fiction and non-fiction. Fiction stories are based on imaginary events, fairy tales, folklore, mythology, adventure story, ghost stories, and bedtime stories come under fiction stories. Non-fiction stories can cover any kind of real life event or experience. Family, travel stories, war stories, historical events, biographies and autobiographies, memories and experience come under non-fiction stories. Here is specimen stories. Develop the hints into a meaningful story. Give a title to the story. An old lady becomes blind, calls in a doctor, agrees to pay large fees. If cured, doctor comes daily, starts stealing one piece of furniture daily, delays the cure, at last cures her, demands his fees. Lady refuses to pay, saying cure is not complete. Doctor objects. Lady says sight not restored as she cannot see all her furniture. So now, here's the story, The Missing Furniture. There was once an old lady. She met with an accident and lost her eyesight. She became very upset and called the most efficient surgeon in town to treat her. She promised to pay a large amount of fees to the surgeon if he was able to restore her eyesight. The surgeon visited the old lady every day and gave her some medicines. He took advantage of the fact that she was blind and could not see anything. He started stealing pieces of expensive furniture from her house. He took away one piece every day. For this purpose, he delayed the cure. After he took away all the furniture from the house, he restored the eyesight of the lady. When he asked for the fees, the old lady refuses to pay him. She said that her eyesight had not yet been fully restored. The surgeon disagreed. The lady plainly replied that she was not able to see the furniture in the house, which meant that her eyesight has not been restored. The doctor felt ashamed and quietly left the house. Moral: God watches over our actions. So students, develop the hints into a meaningful story. Give a title to the story. Here are some hints. God's promise to a disciple to visit her. Disciple cleans her house and waits for God. Poor old lady knocks her door. Disciple does not help her, tells her not to waste her time. Next, beggar comes at her doorstep. She does not entertain him either. Finally, a child knocks her door. She sends him away too. Dreams of God. That night, God tells him that he had come thrice at her doorstep, but she did not bother. Lady disappointed. So here's the story. God coming home. Once God promised a devoted disciple that he would visit her that day. She felt very happy. She started cleaning her house. She mopped, cleaned, polished and scrubbed every nook and corner of the house. Then she sat and waited for God hopefully. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. She was very excited to see God standing at her doorstep. When she opened the door, she found a poor hungry old lady asking for alms. She refused to talk to her, saying, "Go away. Don't waste my time. I am waiting for someone special. I am waiting for God." The old helpless lady left disappointed. After some time, there was another knock at the door. She opened the door thinking that this time it has got God at her doorstep. To her utter dismay, when she opened the door, she saw a beggar standing there. He was looking tired, helpless, and hungry. He asked for something to eat. "Don't waste my time, you old beggar," the woman replied. "Can't you see I am expecting to see God any moment now? Go away and come back another day." She slammed the door on his face. The beggar turned back with tears in his eyes. There was a third knock on the door. The woman ran to open the door to welcome God to welcome God. To her surprise, she saw a hungry child standing outside. He was crying and his clothes were torn. The woman lost her temper and scolded the child for ringing the doorbell unnecessarily. Again, she slammed the door angrily. As evening approached, there was no sign of God. She went to bed with a heavy heart. God came in her dream and said, I knocked on your door 3 times and every time you slammed the door on my face. The woman was shocked to hear this and repented her behavior. So students in the same way develop the hints to a meaningful story, given a title to the story. Budding painter in Athens. Levin always finds mistakes in his painting. Painter frustrated puts one of his paintings in a square, asks people to cross the errors. Astonished to find the painting full of crosses, the next morning decided to commit suicide. A wise man dissuades him and advises him to ask people to correct the errors in his paintings. No one corrects anything. Painter elated takes his paintings to an exhibition, wins many awards. Now, here's the story. Budding painter in Athens. Once upon a time, there lived a budding painter in the city of Athens. He was extremely talented. Nevertheless, his works were often severely criticized by laymen. The painter was frustrated. People always find faults with my paintings. I had better ask them to correct those errors, he thought. So one morning, he placed one of his works in a square with the words, cross the errors. The next morning, he was astonished to find the whole painting full of crosses. He was astonished to find the whole painting full of crosses. The painter was so disappointed that he decided to commit suicide. I am not fit for this job. I am a loser. I had better end my life, he thought. A wise man happened to know about the incident. He at once called for the painter. I am very disappointed, sir, the painter said. My works are never appreciated. I don't want to live anymore. The painter said. The wise man heard him patiently and said that he should take another chance. He then asked the painter to place the same painting in the same cushion in the same square with the words, correct the errors. The painter did so. The next morning, he returned to the square. Not a single correction had been made. The painter was delighted. He then displayed his painting in an exhibition. They got rave reviews and he was hailed as an outstanding painter. He also got rich rewards. So in this way, this chapter ends here. We will meet next time. Bye bye, students.